Well, if you thought 2011 was huge in the NEAFL, strap yourself in for this year. An expanded competition and new teams, plus developments off the field as well, including this, NEAFL Footy Talk. I'm Greg Thomson, thanks for being with us, and our first guest is the manager of the NEAFL Eastern Conference, Jack Masters. Jack, very nice to have you on board, mate.
Thanks very much, Greg. Look, it's great to be here for the first episode, and also great to be sitting here alongside you. Welcome as our main host.
Thanks, mate. It's going to be a big year, not only here, but also off the field too. Plenty of footy happening, of course. It's been a busy time for you, mate, in the 2012 off-season. Tell us about some of these developments, in particular the new teams in the final series.
Look, it's a massive year, you're right. This year will bear little resemblance to the 2011 season. Of course, we've gone from 7 to 9 teams, a 5-team final series, as well as developments like this TV show, streaming Match of the Round as well to the neafl.com.au website. So look, bring on round one. It's been a long summer and a lot of work's gone into the pre-season by everybody, but look, we're all looking forward to this weekend.
It was huge last year, wasn't it, 2011, the first official year of the North East Australian Football League, and already after 12 months we've got an expansion, and you know, it's exciting times ahead. It
is. Look, it's really great that everyone's bought into this whole competition. There's a lot of change that people have tried to get their head around and have been very successful in doing that. And I've really got to compliment the clubs. You know, it's been a big change what they've had to get their head around, so it's all good.
Well, it was a star-studded affair for the launch of the North East Australian Football League season 2012 at Manuka Oval at the weekend during the curtain raiser in the NAB Challenge game between the Giants and Sydney Swans. As you can see, a host of people were there, all the clubs were present, and of course Tom Harley, the premiership-winning Geelong skipper, did the honours, Jack, and of course it's great to have him on board in his official role with AFL New South Wales ACT.
Absolutely. Look, Tom's a quality person, everybody knows that, and of course as General Manager of AFL New South Wales ACT, he's you know, he's leading the organisation with great skill. So you know, we're delighted to have him officially launch the season at Manuka Oval there on Saturday. And you know, the more of those types of events Tom's able to get to, the better. Everyone loves Tom. He's a very likeable person, and you know, he's got a real aura about him, so it was fantastic to have him there.
And brings plenty of experience too. I mean, I saw him at the curtain raise between the ACT rep side and the UWS Giants reserves, talking to all these players, talking to these young kids. So they're certainly going to get a lot out of that. And of course, NEAFL TV caught up with him at the launch.
Isn't it great? I think to come today and launch the season officially on a day where you've got the rep sites playing, you've got Richmond playing the Giants, it's a really great feel and a great vibe around Manuka at the moment. And I think the success of the NEAFL last year was the stepping stone to what's going to be a great competition. Looking forward, obviously, to the 2 Sydney clubs coming in, and the word on the football street is that the Canberra clubs have recruited well and certainly raised the bar in the way they've prepared for the season. So I think you know, we need to close that divide between the Northern Conference and hopefully one of our sides can salute at the end of the day.
Tom Harley there at the launch of the North East Australian Football League season in 2012. Jack, as I mentioned earlier, new teams. Tell us about them, based out of Sydney.
Absolutely. We've got the Sydney Hills Eagles, who of course have won the last 3 premierships out of the AFL Sydney competition, and Sydney University, who have got a very strong recent history in the AFL Sydney competition. They're the 2 new teams in the Eastern Conference. I know they've been doing an enormous amount of work over the pre-season with, you know, building their club, building their list and getting ready for what's going to be a big challenge for them. We're all looking forward to round one. Of course, they'll play each other up in Sydney. And look, depending on who you talk to, it could go either way. I think most people are expecting the Hills Eagles to be pretty competitive this year based on some of the recruits they've been able to bring to their club. But the Sydney Uni are a bit of an unknown factor, and you know, they've certainly got some strength through their list, but they've got some really real quality people working for them off field as well.
In terms of bringing them in, when was the expansion plan first thought of? And mate, it just seems a bit too easy and sort of unheard of. 2 new teams in the second year of a new competition.
Look, I think it was always the intention with the NEAFL to bring Sydney State League teams in. The process started sort of mid-2011, and there was a process in terms of the Sydney clubs applying and going through the process. There were a number of clubs that put their hands up, but in our view, Sydney Hills Eagles and Sydney University were the 2 clear standouts, and we're delighted to have them.
Well, they made the trip to the launch as well. Let's take a look and listen at some of the thoughts of the Sydney Uni coach for season 2012.
We're up and running pretty well. Obviously the test will come in probably round 1, but more so round 2 when we play a side that we've never played before. Round 1 we actually play our old rival in Sydney Hills, who have been going head to toe against for the last few years. So round 2 will be a real challenge when we play, I think, Belconnen.
Yeah, it's new. We've got quite a big list of 19, 20-year-olds who played last year at Premier Division, so big step up for them, but there's probably 4 or 5 kids who are looking pretty exciting in the pre-season, which will be exciting.
Well, the coaches were on hand for the launch of the NEAFL season, and Footy Talk caught up with them.
What a way to start the season. Our boys have improved, and what a way to test them against last year's premiers in round 1. Our deficiency last year was our skills, so we've worked really hard on them last year, over pre-season, and yeah, we're getting there. We're getting there slowly. We've got a very young group, but we've certainly seen some improvement and some gains over the break.
Looking forward to the season kicking off, and as you said, gives us a chance to get out and have a look at the first couple of teams we roll into in round 2 and 3, and hopefully pick up little bits. You know, all the teams have recruited well, and we'll see how it goes. And you know, my 5 years at Ainslie were great. Had some success. I worked very hard with Chris, and pretty good relationship there. But I think it's time now to have a good crack at it, and we've got a good list, and hopefully we can just improve, and you know, probably our consistency, and when we get into the finals, have a good crack at it.
Some very confident coaches talking up their chances for this season. Of course, they're all looking for improvement. That was the key message out of most of those teams. But a side who has been improving for the best part of 5 years is the Ainslie Footy Club, the Tricolours, under coach Chris Rourke. Jack, the big question, can they go back-to-back after their gripping grand final win against the Swans Reserves last year?
Look, it's a good question. They've clearly lost some talent this year, and Robert Shirley, their skipper John Holmes, to name a couple, but they've been very successful in their recruiting over the off-season, headed of course by former Adelaide Crow star Ken McGregor. They've also picked up Hawthorn rookie Jack Marnie, so they've been able to replace some of those losses quite well. They really you know, did some great things last year, Ainslie, and of course they beat the Swans in the Eastern Conference Grand Final, and they went really close to knocking over the NT Thunder in Alice Springs in the Conference Grand Final. So expect big things from Ainslie again this year.
Ainslie coach Chris Rourke spoke to NEAFL Footy Talk about what he thinks 2012 will be like.
We have, yeah. We've lost a couple of goodies in Holmes and Shirley. They'll be out of our midfield, but we've got some good young kids, and obviously the recruitment of Kenny McGregor with his experience. And you know, we've kept most of our list. You know, we've only lost 4 players out of the last 2 premiership sides, so I think we'll still be up around there. And everybody seems really keen, and I know I'm still buzzing, so it must be good. I love it. It is. And someone said before, like, footy's back, and I woke up this morning and I had no sleep because I'd played footy all night last night, so I love it.
Ainslie coach Chris Rourke there, he loves this time of year. Well, let's get straight into it. Round 1 of the North East Australian Football League looks a little something like this. The Hills Eagles and Sydney Uni, Jack, game 1, but there's been a venue change.
There has. Look, we've had to move the game away from the Hills Eagles home ground and Bruce Purser Reserve due to a clash with cricket. So that game will now be played on Saturday from 11 o'clock at Gipps Road in Greystones.
Brilliant. The second game, the historic clash between the UWS Giants and the Sydney Swans. Of course, all the attention on the AFL, but this one's going to be a ripper. The 2 Sydney teams going head-to-head.
Absolutely. Can't wait for that one. I'll be there at that game. Really looking forward to that as part of a massive event down there at ANZ Stadium. I can't pick that one. I think that's going to go right down to the wire.
Then it's Queanbeyan and Tuggeranong on Sunday, March 25 from 2 p.m. at Dairy Farmers. That'll be an absolute ripper. And then the reigning champions Ainslie go head-to-head with Belconnen. That game also Sunday, 2 p.m. Ainslie get the home ground advantage for that one. Big developments with us as well. The Ainslie-Belconnen game will be broadcast live on the internet. A fantastic initiative. The NEAFL website, neafl.com.au, has all the details. Make sure you get the latest version of Flash Player. Very good initiative, Jack, that game of the round live on the internet.
Absolutely. We're really looking forward to that. Very exciting development we've got for 2012 with your good self, of course, being the main commentator. This week we'll bring Brett Davison, another experienced radio person, and look, we're really looking forward to that game. It's
going to be absolutely fantastic, so don't forget to join us from 2 p.m. on the Ustream. neafl.com.au has all the details, and of course, if you want to keep up to date with us and all the happenings in the competition, Twitter, Facebook, the website, Jack, social media, you're embracing it in a big way.
We are. We love the social media, and look, we've got a really great following. It's a great way to keep in touch with what's happening in the competition. Updates quarter by quarter from every game with our Twitter account. Lots of other interesting bits and pieces. So I'd really encourage everybody to log on and join us.
Footy is back in a big way. We can't wait. Round 1 of the NEAFL this weekend. Jack Masters, our very first guest on our very first show. Mate, you've nailed it.
Thanks, Greg. Great to be here.
Good to see you, Jack. Thank you. Well, we close the show with a brilliant television commercial by Coordinate. This will get you pumped for season 2012. I'm Greg Thomson. See you next week. Bye for now.
Get behind your team. For match details, head to neafl.com.au.